Hello my viewers, welcome back to the channel. By the video title, you know what this video is about. Today we're discussing, of course, some NFL news, updates, all the little different things that have been going on in the NFL world. Talking free agency, fines as well. We're gonna start with the fine first, probably most likely, which is the Falcons was fined $350,000 total. I think Jeff Ubrich, he got $100,000, I think, fine, and the Falcons had to pay $250,000 fine. So it's kind of all to get out. I guess the Falcons fined him. I guess maybe to pay some of that portion of that money because of the incident that happened with the prank call thing. Of course, that happened between I think his son, who was 21 years old, who prank called Jador Sanders. And a lot of players get prank called throughout the whole draft process. But the reason he's getting scrutinized, a lot of people are saying they're only doing it because it's Jador Sanders. It's the Sanders. That's why. No. They're doing it because the fool recorded himself doing it. That's why. So you can get punished. You recorded yourself doing it like that, recording yourself prank calling somebody like that, and then he tried to say it was a mistake. It's not a mistake. You purposely did that so you can make fun of a guy, and say, oh, like, you're not getting drafted right here, to kind of be funny and stuff. And you post on the internet and stuff. And now you can just pay the consequences for that. I don't think it should be like career ending, where his career is over or something like that, of course, where his life is finished or something. But he paid the consequences for that for the next. He probably talked about for the next week or so, paying the consequences for that, and paying that money. And his father probably, I don't know what his father gonna do. He might have to choke slam him or something. But I know for sure if I was in that situation, oh yeah, I wouldn't be able to type up a message like that. I would have got power bombed through the table. I think my mother would have definitely got me. My father was deceased. He died when I was 3. So, but I think he probably had the same reaction too as well. I think my mother, most definitely, if I did something like that, I got power bombed through a table, had the right, I would not prank call somebody like probably 1,000 times or something like that. It would have been very bad. $100,000 fine. Oh yeah, I would have got whooping by everybody. I would have got whooping by my whole family. Aunts, uncles, grandparents, everybody. Like that would have been terrible like that. And like one thing my mom always taught me, my family always taught me, hey, don't be bullying people. Bullying is never never right at all. Like that is always the wrong thing. And also accountability as well. I know he said he made a mistake, but I'm like, just be accountable for your actions. You was trying to be funny in that situation. You went out there and got the number, because you could have got your father fired as well. You wasn't thinking about your father either, because I don't know if you got into his laptop or you left something up and you got there and got the number. I still don't know why the physical coordinator have all those numbers and they gave it to everybody, I guess, on the team. But you went into your father's stuff, got the number, was trying to be funny and stuff. He should have made a public apology on the internet. You posted a video on the internet. Hey, make sure the apology is allowed to disrespect. You posted a video on the internet trying to be funny, post an apology. You don't need on ChatGPT and all this AI little written up thing that you wrote up. Post a video yourself, apologize. I know you say you called Shador, so I guess that's kind of like the same thing too, as well as okay as well. But yeah, that right there was crazy. That's a big fine for, well, not a big fine for this team, they're a big team, but it's still a big fine for a coach to pay $100,000. Like, yeah, I remember Coach Tomlin, our coach, the Steelers, he paid that $100,000 fine when he was standing on $100,000 fine. He was standing on the sideline when he messed up RP to Jacoby Jones. He messed up Jacoby Jones in that kick return. That was crazy too. So we've seen some big fines before in the NFL. The Spygate fines and stuff and all the type of things. So yeah, and right there was a crazy incident. But the reason he got punished for that because hey, first of all, your father is the coach of the team, and plus you recorded it, so it made it like, hey, it easy to get you. But hopefully he learned from that and be better. Cause I'm 23 years old, he's 21, so we're only 2 years apart. So I would never do anything like that. That's doing too much. First of all, like trying to make fun of somebody doing a prank. Now everybody play the same all the time too, like doing that playful stuff. But you're trying to be funny and stuff, chilling on the college campus and trying to have fun. And I went out there and did that right there, and now hey, you got to pay consequences. His dad is probably, I don't know, he might be, I don't know what his dad gonna do to him, but he'll do something to him probably, like that. Might make him pay half of it. I have to make him pay half over the full fine like that. But when you start working, you're gonna pay me this every single time to pay up for that. So we'll see what happens though. But yeah, that's one of the topics today. The fine, of course, the Falcons. Also, of course, we see a lot of players still available in free agency. So a lot of free agent players still available. Of course, Aaron Rodgers' name is probably one of the most notable ones. The Steelers would be able to bring Aaron Rodgers in. The Steelers going to bring Aaron Rodgers to be a quarterback for this year, maybe the following year as well. I'm not long Aaron Rodgers is signed. I don't know if it'll be a 2-year deal. Most likely probably a 1-year deal, but we have to wait and see what happens. I don't even know if he's interested in playing football, but the Steelers are still poised on him. We heard R. Rooney II mention Aaron Rodgers before and during the draft and say he very much think Aaron Rodgers will be coming to Pittsburgh. So we'll see what happens. The Steelers missed out on many quarterback options. Many times a few times in that draft for some top tier quarterbacks. Missed out on some of those guys to try to get, of course, trying to get Aaron Rodgers like that to be the guy. And they drafted Will Howard late round, the 6th round. We'll see how he develops as well. So things will be a little shaky. They still got a lot of weapons too. They just signed Robert Woods yesterday. So now you got George Pickens, DK Metcalf, Robert Woods, Calvin Austin, who had 500 yards last year. I think DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin was top 10 all in yards per reception last year as well. So you got these guys who can get down the field and make some big time plays. You got a new running back, Caleb Johnson. You got Jalen Warren still there as well, who did a good job as a dual threat back. So you got all these pieces. O-line is young and fresh. Played pretty good last year. Getting better and better. But quarterback position still shaky. Mason Rudolph is solid, but he didn't have the full-term answer, the long-term answer and stuff. And Aaron Rodgers, he can still throw the ball, but he can barely move. So we'll have to see how things shape out a little bit too. So we'll have to see what the Steelers do. They have a team. The defense is good, of course. They're just missing that one factor, that one piece, which is the quarterback. So we'll see what happens. But it's another guy, some other team people that's available too as well. You look at Keenan Allen, still available, of course. He's another guy who was still available. He might return to the Bears, but depending on how things go with the management and stuff. But Mark Cooper, of course, is available. We've seen a lot of things that the Cowboys might be trying to get a reunite with Mark Cooper. They might need to, because Mark Cooper was very good with the Cowboys. Dak Prescott had some of his best years when Mark Cooper was there, because Mark Cooper is a very good route runner. You have a guy like that on the other side who's 30 years old, who still has that route running ability, create separation, put on the other side of CeeDee Lamb, can actually help out a lot. I don't know how much he would be asking for. On his market value right now, he's showing $20 million. So we'll see what the Cowboys would do. Like they maybe sign to a 2-year deal worth $40 million, or maybe a 2-year deal worth $35 million, $38 million, or somewhere around that range. But the Cowboys did not draft a receiver, which I was surprised by. I had them taking Torrey McMillan, but he got taken by the Panthers. But they still had other receivers on the board, and you could have possibly maybe looked into. You know, the Mike Ibukas, you had the Luther Verdens up there as well. All these different receivers on the board, and if you want one of those guys right there, you could have got a guy later round and stuff as well. But the Cowboys did not take a receiver at all during the draft. So we'll see if they find a guy in free agency. I know they was calling the Pittsburgh Steelers about George Pickens. That was one of the reports that came out. But, you know, Steelers not trading George Pickens, especially not now. Like maybe before the draft, but not after the draft, because you trade him after the draft, you don't get anything back, because those picks you have will be for next year. So they probably hold off on trading him anywhere. So we'll see what the Cowboys do as well. I guess the Mark Cooper probably would be the best option, unless you want to go with Keenan Allen, who had some pretty good games last year as well. But I think Cooper probably the best option. He's been there before, and he kind of fit and merged well easy. Von Miller's still available, of course, as well. He still want to play a little bit too. We'll see where he goes. You got Brandon Sheriff, the guard, as well. He's a little older now. See if he plays and keep playing. Marcus Williams, the safety from the Ravens. The Ravens drafted another safety, Malachi Starks, who's going to be very good, a field general, with Cal Hamilton. So they got a pretty good secondary. So he probably will not be coming back to the Ravens. So he'll probably be somewhere else. He's 28 years old, still a pretty solid player. So we'll see him somewhere. Matt Judon, of course. We'll see where he's going to land as well, because the Falcons did take Michael Williams, right? I think no, they took Jalen Walker, right? Was Jalen Walker or Michael Williams? They took one of them. Let me make sure I'm correct. I think it was Jalen Walker. Yeah, Jalen Walker. It's Jalen Walker. You know, Jalen Walker can play on ball and off ball like that as a linebacker. So they got him as well. So we're gonna see what goes on. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's Sunday Samuel. Have he signed anywhere yet? Okay, what's rumors about him? I don't know if he signed anywhere yet or not. I don't see him on this list. I don't think he's unrestricted. I think he might have been. I think he might have signed back. I don't know, but you have of course Jalen Walker on the Falcons too. So the Falcons, they added their edge rusher, a young edge rusher who's can play on ball, off ball, like I mentioned. And so we're gonna see where some of these free agents kind of go a little bit. So it's gonna be very interesting. One thing I also didn't want to talk about too as well was the rookies. Which some of the rookies I feel like are some guys who have some immediate impact on a team. I think, of course, Torrey McMillan, I think with the Panthers, going to have a big time impact. A big playmaker, 6'5", like I mentioned him on a video before. I made a video about him. He's an amazing player like that. He's a big target for Bryce Young. Bryce Young played very good. He got benched last year at one point when Andy Dalton came in. And remember, people were like, Bryce Young got benched. He's a bust. He's all this. He took all that in to count. He came back out there and went out there and balled out. He started playing real good. And the Panthers seen little sparks from him. And then they had some few games that they lost, like against the Chiefs, against the Eagles, some top teams that was in the Super Bowl. They lost those games by a little bit. But you can see that he can build upon it. Of course, like losing is still bad, of course. But when you see the way you lose, like, okay, they lost in overtime. They lost in the last few seconds. Like, it came down to the wire. It came down to a flip of a coin type of losses and here and there. They won some games and they probably shouldn't have won like that. They won some division games and stuff. They were able to show they can stay competitive. So now you add T-Mac to the mixture of that. You add some pieces you add on defense as well to the mixture of that, and you might have a pretty good team like that. It's a team that might can squeeze themselves in the playoffs, maybe 9-8 or something. You never know. You never know. The NFC will be open sometimes at the bottom. Now last year they went crazy. The NFC went crazy last year. They had teams that had 13 wins in the wild card, so it was different last year. But usually the NFC would be easier to get in sometimes. But last year was different. They had the Commanders, the Lions, Commanders, the Vikings. All those teams, the Packers, those teams had like 11, 12 plus wins, 13 plus wins, and all type of stuff like that. So that right there was different. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers make some noise like that, especially with adding those weapons. I like Shavon Revel of the Cowboys. Cowboys got him. He's gonna be nice. Before he turned his ACL last year, that college season he was having was one of the best ones. He was having a big time year. I thought he would have been definitely a first round pick. He got selected in the 3rd round, if I'm not mistaken, right? I think 3rd round, so he'll be first round pick most likely. If that ACL injury didn't happen, he missed that whole season because he's very good. He has long arms, he's physical as well, can play press, man-to-man coverage. Kind of fit everything the Cowboys like in their cornerbacks. Trayvon Diggs, the Darren Blands, Shavon Revel, those guys kind of fit and merge together. They can all play press coverage and they all play physical and stuff. So he's going to be pretty good. I like him a lot. And of course, I think Cam Scatterbo from the Giants, he's going to be nice too. I'm surprised he was a 4th round pick. He should have been taken higher, I think. Cam Scatterbo is a workhorse. You go watch his games in the playoffs when the Arizona was playing the playoff game against the Texas. Man, he basically was the whole team offense. You watch him throughout the season, he's the whole team offense. I see him line up out wide, line up in the slot. I see him do everything. Power run schemes, pitches to the outside, inside run schemes. He was doing all type of things like that out there. He was just basically putting the team on his back in multiple games. I remember that playoff game, he was kind of sick a little bit, still playing and still going out there and dominating. At one point in the game, he had more total yards than the Texas Longhorns had as a team. I think he was playing very good like that. And they lost in overtime, though. He scored so many touchdowns. I think like 4 or 5 touchdowns in that game, trying to keep them afloat. I think him being with the Giants is going to be nice. He'll get a guy who's similar. I ain't saying Saquon Barkley, but similar in Saquon Barkley-esque type play style a little bit. Kind of replacement of that. You got, I think, Lacey, right? Tracy Lacey, the running back from last year they had. He had some pretty good games, too, as well. He had a good game against my Steelers. He put up 100 yards rushing. He was playing pretty good, too. So, yeah, him as well. You got Jackson Dart. We'll see how he looks. Hopefully he ain't using those claps. Hopefully he ain't using those claps anymore. I had to snap the ball. That was funny, though. A lot of college schemes do that kind of one read system. Kind of like a simple system for the young quarterbacks, which is cool in college, but I feel like you should always have a pro scheme because you want these guys to transition to the NFL. They have a pro scheme a little bit. Now, some guys have simple schemes in college and do transfer pretty well to the NFL, but I feel like you should have everybody running the pro style offense so you already kind of be ready with your snap count, your cadences, and kind of have that built up. So once you get to the league, you already kind of have a little foot ahead of the game a little bit. So I think he's another little person to watch out for, the Cam Scatterbo. I like, of course, Shedeur Sanders as well. Shedeur Sanders, I think he had an opportunity actually to kind of start with the Browns because the Browns it's still a stupid draft. He took Dylan Gabriel. I was surprised with Dylan Gabriel. Don't get me wrong. I think he'd be all right, but not as a 3rd round pick. Maybe as a 6th round pick. But they took Dylan Gabriel, and Dylan Gabriel was in the 3rd round pick for them. He's 5'10". He had a solid arm a little bit like that too as well, but he's very limited as well. He played a lot of different colleges at college. A lot of different teams like that too. I think he played for like 4 different teams, 3 or 4 different teams at college with UCF, Oregon, Oklahoma. It might have been 3, I think. 3 or 4, something like that. But he's been around a little bit and stuff. But his kind of play style, his athleticism, everything's kind of limited a little bit in that aspect. But he could merge to be something big time. You never know what could happen. But we're gonna see how things go with him. Also, but I like Joe Flacco is all right. He's 41 years old, a little older. I think he's 40, but turned 41 or something like that. Deshaun Watson, he is injured, has a re-ruptured his Achilles, I think a few months ago, so he will not be there probably. And then you have who else? Oh, Kenny Pickett. So that QB room right there. I'm not trying to undermine anybody, but I think Shedeur Sanders could possibly beat those guys out. I think it might come down to Joe Flacco starting based off him being the veteran, and they have Shedeur as number 2, and then Dylan Gabriel number 3, and Kenny Pickett probably be on a different team, I think. Maybe go to the Rams. I think Kenny Pickett goes to the Rams. You probably have an opportunity to learn by Stafford and with Sean McVay and that scheme, or goes to 49ers or somewhere. I think he'll do a solid job there. So I think those would be top 3 quarterbacks. I think Flacco will start most of the season, then Shador come in, and you'll see exactly what he's about. I think he's gonna have a chip on his shoulder. We've seen him do a lot of different things, of course, training. He's doing like some youth events and stuff in Cleveland as well. And the team kind of embraced him too. We've seen Denzel Ward, David Njoku, a lot of different the Cleveland Browns people, like they kind of embraced him as basically almost like the QB of the locker room. They didn't say that to anybody else that got drafted. But it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with him, what happens with everybody and stuff. But yeah, that's basically all I have today. All the news that happens today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe for more content. And I'll probably see you guys tomorrow for some more content. Also, subscribe to the DB Productions channel. That channel, I think, well, actually, I don't know if it's linked yet, but if you can find it, if it's linked, it might be on one of the previous videos like that. Subscribe to that channel. Subscribe to New Genesis, our other channel that's joint on the road to 500 over there. Steelers Syndicate, subscribe there. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers over there. If you like just to see the Steelers stuff, and then here, hey, we're discussing football, basketball, all type of things like that on here. So be on the lookout for more content. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.